FCAM2012R2, users now have the ability to save a boundary that they have calculated for one operation and then use that in subsequent operations. This boundary gets saved as curves, and we can use different parts of the boundary to refine or restrict our toolpath as we want to. So in this example you can see I've got this press tool blank file, and in this case you can see we've got a steep Z level finish toolpath. If I just turn off the shading, just do a quick calculation, you can see here this is my toolpath, and what I want to do is I want to restrict this with my slope restrictions. So let's go into the feature, go into the properties of it, into the Z level and into slopes, and I'm going to say I just want to machine the vertical only areas. So let's apply, say OK. As soon as I go and recalculate this, you'll notice we get calculating boundary appears. So it's basically refining and looking for the boundary calculation. Once it's calculate that boundary, I then get my toolpath inside those regions as I want. If I want to use that same boundary, I can now obtain that from this feature and save this as curve information and use it for other operations. So in this case I've got a shallow toolpath that I'm creating. This is going to be a 3D spiral. So if I go into the steep Z level, into the Z level area, into the stock tab, and you've got a save combined boundary, I can select that option, and it says the boundary is displayed as a curve, do you wish to save it? Say yes, say OK, and I've now got the curve. If I hide the feature and hide the model for the time being, you can see the curve information for my boundary. I can now use these, they are all separate curves. I can use these in other operations. So let's go to the shallow 3D spiral. I'm going to go into the properties of this, into the stock tab. I'm going to say select curves for boundaries, and then the boundaries I'm going to select all of the curves. So all of those are selected. The only one I don't want to use is this one here, which in the case of my model is the top one, curve 19. So I'm now restricting that toolpath to only work within the boundaries from these shallow regions. I can say OK, apply, calculate the toolpath, and note that we get no boundary calculation, just goes straight into the 3D spiral toolpath. I've now calculated the toolpath in those regions using the curve boundary from the previous operation.